sexual reproduction. In here, you can see a pictorial representation of the life cycle, especially the sexual life cycle of Markantia. Next, let's see the reproduction in Markantia. Markantia shows both vegetative, asexual and sexual reproduction. Here you can observe a pictorial representation of the life cycle of Markantia. And during the sexual reproduction, the male and female sex organs, they either produced on the same or different thallus. In this picture, you can see the presence of a male plant and a female plant. The male plant gives rise to the andridium. Andridium is the female reproductive organ and female reproductive organ is the archegonium. Again, andridium gives rise to the male gamete, that is androzoids, and archegonium gives rise to a single non-motile egg. And here you can see the presence of egg. And during reproduction, when the androzoids reaches to the archegonium, the reproduction takes place. And after fertilization, it gives rise to zygote. The male gamete and female gamete fuses to form zygote. Again, after meiosis, the zygote gives rise to embryo. Embryo is the young sporophyte. And this embryo derives nutrients from the gametophyte and give rise to a mature sporophyte. So, the sporophyte, they do not have the ability to prepare their own food. Hence, they depend the gametophytic stage for nourishment. Then the mature sporophyte give rise to spore through the process meiosis. And again, through the process germination, the spore give rise to male and female plant body. That's all about the reproduction in Markantia. Next, let's watch a video regarding the characteristic features of Bryophytes.
Long years ago, a special group of plants with a sense of adventure began making the journey from water to land. What were these plants? Moss. There are thousands of known species of mosses, but the question is, what plant group does moss belong to? Bryophytes include the various mosses and live-worts that are found commonly growing in moist, shaded areas in the hills. Bryophytes are also called amphibians of the plant kingdom because these plants can live on soil but are dependent on water for sexual reproduction. The plant body of bryophytes is more differentiated than that of algae. It is thallus-like and prostrate or erect and attached to the substratum by unicellular or multicellular rhizoids. They lack true roots, stems or leaves. However, they may possess root-like, leaf-like or stem-like structures. Mosses are small flowerless plants that typically grow in dense green clumps or mats, often in damp or shady locations. Let's learn more about moss and its life cycle. The predominant stage of the life cycle of a moss is the gametophyte, which consists of two stages. Number 1, protonema, and number 2, leafy stage. The first stage is the protonema stage, which develops directly from a spore. It is a creeping, green, branched and frequently filamentous stage. The second stage is the leafy stage, which develops from the secondary protonema as a lateral bud. They consist of upright, slender axis-bearing spirally arranged leaves. They attach to the soil through multicellular and branched rhizoids. This stage bears the sex organs. The sex organs are multicellular. The male sex organ is called antheridium. They produce the flagellate and therozoids. The female sex organ, called archegonium, is flask-shaped and produces a single egg. The antherozoids are released into the water where they come in contact with archegonium. The antherozoid fuses with the egg to produce the zygote. Zygotes do not undergo reduction division immediately. They produce a multicellular body called sporophyte. The sporophyte is not free-living but is attached to the photosynthetic gametophyte and derives nourishment from it. Some cells of the sporophyte undergo reduction division or meiosis to produce haploid spores. These spores germinate to produce gametophyte.
So So children, today we have discussed about bryophytes, the amphibians of plant kingdom, their characteristic features and their mode of reproduction, both asexual, sexual and vegetative modes of reproduction. Hope you get an idea regarding this topic. That's all for today. Thank you.